Hey, what's up guys? John here. One of the leading causes of premature death, apparently, is now landlords. Landlords are the problem. You might say, John, that's crazy. Look at what's happening on whitehouse.gov. You look at CNBC, you kind of connect the dots on a lot of these new laws, policies, restrictions, a lot of these changes coming for landlords. Already in place. This isn't something that might happen. It's already happening now. What we're going to see is millions of landlords leaving the business. We're going to see a complete overhaul of the entire real estate industry. I'm going to show you factually what is happening. I mean, look at this. Whitehouse.gov, our agenda has been guided by the goal of lowering housing costs. During the pandemic, that meant ensuring Americans could afford to remain in their housing despite the disruption to incomes. Then CNBC put out this article yesterday. Unaffordable rents are linked to premature death. Princeton finds. Now they show you what the problem is that they say, but what the solution is. And interestingly, the solution that they show you in this article is already locked in. It's already happening.
Rent control is an appropriate tool nationally to tell landlords that they cannot simply jack up their rents to any rate that they want.
I'm going to show you with facts so you can make smart and concise decisions on your real estate investments. If you own rental properties, if you're thinking about buying them, just pay close attention to what's happening so you can make decisions that are going to, be a long-term win for you. Not something where you're going to get rug pulled because of some crazy policy that, maybe you didn't anticipate. I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to show you what's going on. Please hit the like button, hit the like button. YouTube will share this content, educate more people about what's going on in the U.S. economy. And if you'd like to fix your credit, we'd love to help you out. My company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative item in your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free strategy session. If you have big, ambitious goals in 2024 that you want to take care of, make sure you have great credit where you can get funding. If you have bad credit now, square it away so you can get great credit to get that funding at GreatCreditFast.com. Take a look at this. So, unaffordable rents are linked to premature death, Princeton study finds. Renters burdened with unaffordable housing costs may be at a higher risk of dying sooner, according to a new study published by the Journal of Social Science and Medicine. An individual paying 50% of their income towards rent in 2000 was 9% more likely to die over the next 20 years compared to someone paying 30% of their income towards rent, according to this study researched Princeton University. So you may say, okay, well, maybe that is true. Maybe it's the stress. Maybe it is, substance abuse that gets all kind of boiled in together, and maybe it is that. But let's look at what the solution is. The current system makes it difficult to retain housing. What efforts to change hope the response to these findings? We demonstrate in this paper that as rent burdens hit record highs today, we should be considering policies to reduce evictions and guarantee affordable housing as not just a housing policy, but as a critical health policy. Think about this. This is now merging. The last couple of years are merging into housing. In general, we live under a system that makes it really difficult to retain our housing whenever we experience a problem, a sudden health issue in your family, a car crash, or any other unexpected problem can lead to an eviction in a short time. It's especially important to act now. Eviction filings are increasing in every city and state that we track. Are there any policies currently in effect that are making the problem better? Across the U.S. cities and states are trying different and sometimes overlapping policies to promote housing stability and avoid evictions. Some important legal aid programs include the right to counsel. When tenants are provided legal counsel, the odds of them remaining in their homes increase dramatically. Under New York City's right to counsel and eviction court, 84% of represented renters facing eviction remained housed. In Cleveland, 93% of represented renters facing evictions avoid displacement. Many states and cities, such as Rhode Island, D.C., are considering programs like rent control and social housing characterized by being mixed income, mixed use, and with resident involvement in governance than traditional public housing. We need to create a country where quality housing is affordable to everyone. The problem with that, and that sounds great, affordable housing, right? Where people can actually afford to live. Who doesn't like that concept? But the problem becomes when local governments are increasing taxes, they're increasing the cost to be a property owner. Permit fees are going up, property insurance is going up, everything is going up. What happens? Landlords, are they going to absorb that cost? Probably not, right? Just like if anything goes up, the business owner is going to push the cost onto the customer, right? So unless they are proposing to, start to cap these rising costs on landlords so that those savings could be passed on to tenants, what could be the proposal? Well, here it is. So they were discussing the idea of a federal rent control, where essentially the government can tell you federally, every single state and city, what landlords can and can't do with their rental property, how much they can increase rent, what the eviction protocols will look like. They'll be able to tell you everything that you could possibly do. And so if you have a situation where, your insurance is going up 15, 20% a year and you can only increase rents 3% a year, what does that mean? Well, that means that it's only a matter of time until that landlord has to turn away the property, because they're not going to operate the building in the red, right? They're going to have to sell the property. So they proposed this, the White House Blueprint Renters Bill of Rights, which will, and I've shown this, but I'm going to show you something that I have not shown before. So this, clean and fair leases, they'll essentially be able to determine what they say is a clear and fair lease. Education, enforcement, enhancement of rights, where tenants have more protections than ever before, where they will essentially get access to free legal counsel. The right to organize, they can essentially go on strike. So if you have a fourplex and you have 2 or 3 tenants that don't want to pay rent, they can all go on strike together legally. They can eviction prevention, diversion, relief. They have a bunch of protections, right? Making things really, really great for tenants. Not that great for landlords. But when you look at what's going on here, federal pandemic relief prevented a rise in homelessness. And then you see how clearly this is what we're walking into. We're walking into a consolidation of rental properties. So what I mean is the big behemoths, the American Homes for Rent, the Invitation Homes, these really, really big companies that own 20, 30, 50, 100,000 homes, these companies are going to grow dramatically in size over the next couple of years. And this has already been kind of in the works. So look, the majority of rental housing in most major cities is provided by individuals, right? But then look what Maxine Waters told landlords, small landlords, mom and pop landlords nationwide. Yes, the small landlords are at a disadvantage, but guess what? They know how to go to the bank. They know how to get a loan. This was all around this eviction problem, right? Them preventing evictions. Saying, you know what, landlords, you can't afford what we're doing to you. Go get a loan. Basically telling them to, go fly a kite. So when you see this, and then you see Biden's broad plan to help renters comes at the expense of mom and pop landlords. Here's what to do if you still want to own a slice of real estate. And then you look at, well, mom and pop landlords got hurt, but how are Invitation Homes showing year over year record gains through 2021 during the prime time of the pandemic eviction protections? How does this make any sense? Well, because they were getting direct deposits, right? They were getting fat checks directly to these institutions. Year over year in Q4 2022, total revenues increased 11.5% to $580 million for Invitation Homes, right? 11.5% gains. That is, you show me a landlord in 2021, right after everything kind of hit the fan, where they're showing these record gains when you had a situation where you were unable to evict in most cases. So what's happening here? This institutions that own 40% of single-family rentals by 2030. MoneyWise, same exact thing. Unusual Whales, same exact thing. CNBC, the same exact thing. Institutional investors may control 40% of U.S. single-family rental homes. But this is what I think is going to be really, really interesting, and this is how this whole thing kind of comes to a head. The FDIC came out yesterday lumping multifamily real estate in with commercial office. They say that it is just as risky. CRE vacancies are rising, most notably in the office sector, but also multifamily. Office vacancies rates are affected by the demand in traditional office space, right? The multifamily sector vacancy rate is also high in some markets, due in part to potentially overbuilding. We're at a 50-year high in construction. Rapid absorption of multifamily space experienced in 2021 has since slowed, while the pace of new construction remains brisk. Refinancing office and multifamily loans could be challenging in an environment of pressured rent growth, higher interest rates, and lower property values, particularly for those institutions with CRE concentrations in area with surplus and multifamily space. The FDIC concern also extends to the subset of banks with elevated C and D concentration, which subset has risen in recent quarters, but remains well below 2007 peak. Banks with significant exposure to C and D loans had substantial credit losses during the 2008-2013 banking crisis, and banks currently engaged in C&D lending could be affected by weaknesses in the current economic environment in real estate, right? So when you look at what's happening, it's going to get harder to refinance these buildings. It's going to get harder for these landlords to be able to push on these newfound costs to tenants. There's going to be more restrictions, more regulations than ever before. And you have these large institutions sitting on mountains of cash, sitting on so much money, getting ready to go out there and pounce. That's what we're going to walk into. We're walking into the massive consolidation of single-family rentals and multifamily properties nationwide. In this situation, when they say that this is linked to premature death, they mean it. This thing, the new war is on landlords. What do you think about this situation? Drop below. Let's have a conversation about this. I personally believe we are going to see millions of landlords liquidate their properties, sell their properties, try to cash out, because they're going to have two options, really. Maybe they own it outright and they can afford to absorb these newfound costs every single year as insurance and taxes rise, or they're going to have to refinance at a really, really bad time, which is going to be the next couple of years. Not going to be able to get the loan. They're going to have to give the keys back to the bank. B, they are going to have to sell the property because they're not going to be able to absorb these new costs and the new regulation. Or, that's basically it. It's going to be only the strong survive in real estate going forward. So if you are thinking about investing in real estate, it's actually a great thing, because you're going to be able to gauge risk and underwrite risk based on the new reality of real estate, based on what's actually happening. You'll be able to go in there and look at risk properly, and you'll be able to underwrite that deal based on this newfound risk, and you'll be able to add some additional risk in because you don't know what's going to happen the next year or so. Things are likely going to ramp up more and more and more. So you'll be able to go in there and invest when a lot of people no longer want to invest. Carl Icahn, famous billionaire, he had a saying, a great saying. He says, "My job is to buy when everybody wants to sell and to sell when everybody wants to buy," right? I believe we're walking into a period where everyone's going to want to sell. And I think it's going to be a great time to buy if you know what you're doing. What do you think about this entire situation? Drop it below. Let's have a conversation about this. If you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself for what I believe is going to be the greatest transfer of assets of all time, if you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative item in your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click a link just in the description just below this video. If you have big goals for 2024, make sure your credit is squared away so you can go out there and achieve what you want to do. Catch you in the next video.